It is an interesting time in Oklahoma State athletics with athletic facilities. We've had coaches in the last few weeks. Kenny Gajewski talked about possible future additions. We've also had coaches like John Smith say that he doesn't really feel that they need one. And then you got new stadiums like O'Brate and Neil Patterson that have been built recently that are at the top of their game. But the first question I'll ask is just, what do you guys think of the current state of the athletic facilities in Stillwater?
Well, I think that they're a lot better than they were 15 years ago. I mean, back before Sherman E, the football team was practicing on a grass field behind Gallagher Arena. Baseball was at Alley P, and that was all right. Tennis was having to bus 45 minutes every day to go practice, and soccer was obviously an open field with some metal bleachers. So, I mean, all those now, they're like some of the best in the conference now in terms of facilities. And I mean, there's still some work to be done, and we all know that. And we'll get to that here in a second. But I think they're on the right track to being like one of the better Big 12 schools in terms of all-around athletic facilities.
Yes. Noah, you go to a lot of sports yourself. Kind of talk about what you think of the facilities.
So I think O'Brate, tennis, and soccer are all three the best. I mean, you can't get much better than that. Y'all all know going to the baseball games. Beautiful stadium. But when it comes to Gallagher and Boone Pickens, I think they're towards the top, but not at the top yet.
As far as comparisons, you compared them a little bit, but comparisons to the rest of the Big 12 or maybe just even schools in this region with other conferences, where do you see Oklahoma State ranking, and maybe what are they slacking in some departments?
I would probably rank them in the Big 12. I'd probably rank them third or fourth. There's some schools like OU OU's really been going to town on some renovations, and they've got updated football facilities. Texas doing their big thing over in their end zone, getting some stuff built. Iowa State has a really nice indoor. I mean, they all have nice stuff, but I personally, I'd probably put them third or fourth.
Third or fourth. Noah, you've been to a lot of facilities at other schools. You played sports yourself. Kind of when you look at from a fan's view and a former athlete's view, what do you see in comparisons?
So it's so hard when it comes to comparing facilities because niceness, but also game atmosphere comes into play. So obviously with basketball, it's got to be Allen Fieldhouse for the best stadium in the Big 12, just so historical. But then when it comes to football, I really like K-State's. I think it's really nice. I like the castle look, and it has a great fan atmosphere as well.
From your perspective, I know that we're not any decision makers, but if you were to see something in the future that in Stillwater that you would want to see get renovated or maybe even redone completely in the future, what would be just one facility or stadium you'd like to see that happen?
Well, for me, it's 1A and 1B. I want to see wrestling. John Smith talked about wanting to get a bigger wrestling room for not only safety, but also just for the evolution of how wrestling is going now, more fast-paced. I think wrestling could use a bigger wrestling room, and I think softball could use an upgrade as well.
Noah, I'll ask you the same question. What do you want to see in the future here in Stillwater?
I gotta go with softball as well, because when you look at their kind of male just comparison, I mean, obviously softball and baseball aren't the same, but baseball just got this beautiful new stadium, and softball, it's a stadium that's kind of more lacking. So I think kind of equal that out and get softball a new stadium.
Those two, and then from the far out future, indoor track and field, and renovate and help update and upkeep football.
I've agreed with all of those. I think that O'Brate is the #1 stadium in the country, maybe even regardless of sport. And soccer's got to go in tennis, and I really like the athletic village concept. I like how everything is right by each other, and I think it pleases recruits. I think it pleases players, fans. So it'll be interesting to see how the future plays out. But I think right now we have a pretty good foot to stand on.
Let's see where Chad Weiberg takes things when he takes over as athletic director on July 1st.
Thank you.